Okay, here is the Geometer Sketchpad. A couple important features is it allows you to do a couple different constructions, just like the one that's being showed right now. Like you can calculate midpoint, intersections between two lines, different line segments, or detect parallel or perpendicular lines. Now, one of the interesting features, and I'll draw it up for you right now, is it allows you to create various circles. It also will allow you to calculate a chord's length. If I just put another point right there, change over to a line segment, and I'm going to go from there, and I stop it right here. I can calculate the distance between these just by going to measurement and finding the length of that chord, and it comes up over here on this side. Oops, I just made a little mistake, which is not that hard to take care of. We just have to delete it, and I'll highlight. Oops, I hit that again. I gotta go back to the cursor, select it, and delete. And I can delete those points as well, so they're no longer a problem or an issue. Now, a lot of this information that I'm showing you here, in terms of the calculations, it's primarily used for a high school type class, especially when you get into geometry and you're trying to calculate chord lengths. However, there are other applications that you can use. You can use different polygon tools, or you can do just a general shape, select it, and you can draw something that looks like that, which is actually a convex shape. It just varies and gives you an opportunity to sketch things as well as calculate distances, as I did. And I gotta go back to the arrow, as I did with this problem right here. Now, one of the other things that you can actually accomplish with this is when you go into the construct, you can go with a point on a circle or a circle interior. You can shade things in, so you can kind of see where you're working with in terms of the chord. Anytime you've made a mistake, there isn't a back button, just like I just showed you. So there's a number of different ways to go about these. And like I said, the measurement tools, you can actually find the circumference or an area. Given a radius, you can give an equation for that. Circle, such as this one that shows up right here, and it'll actually just bring in a grid for you to work off from. So the applications are pretty much endless. A lot of times I would say this would be great for when you're dealing with algebra kids who have a little bit of a difficulty, just doing some of the common calculations, or just a student that wants to enhance and see if they can draw something and do the various calculations from that piece. You can, in some of the tools, since this isn't free, you can actually do a free sketch or sketch by hand using a marker, as I'm showing right here. And obviously I'm scrolling with the mouse pad, which, as you can tell, is not necessarily the easiest piece. And then if I go back up, this piece is what's showing, so I can elongate it. Okay, and I made it kind of go a little bit more of a straight and narrow path. There really isn't too much more I can do in terms of those, but I can do a quick calculation. And inside of this calculation toolbar, I can calculate or do basic functions like, for example, I can do sine, cosine, tangent. I can calculate absolute values. I can use pi and natural logs, which is logs e. And it just gives you a way to calculate your information, especially if you're combining one or two different pieces at the same time. So essentially, this program itself is the same as Google SketchUp, or it's Geometry Sketchpad is another version of it. So once you've played with the system, it makes it a little easier to understand and the different components that you can do. If I wanted to clear all this, I would just go File. I'll go to a new Sketchpad. I'm going to go right into and do a graph. Okay. I can define the graph. Now these dots I actually like to get rid of. For some reason they won't select. Let me go back into it. Let's see here. Grid form. Rectangular grid. So now I got another grid pattern. Yeah, there's another dot here. That's fine. We'll be able to get rid of those here in just a couple of seconds. Let's say I wanted to graph an equation. So I'm just going to go over to number. Go to graph, plot new function. And inside of this thing, it'll allow me to plot my equation. Let's say it was f of x notation. And we'll go 3x times x plus 2. Now, it is kind of rudimentary in terms of having to do the double x's. I haven't found yet where the equation has allowed me to do it any other way. I haven't found the square button in terms of it yet. But like I said, this is only the free version. A couple other things that you can do with this graph. If I wanted to do some sort of a graph analysis, I can input another equation. Let's say I'm going to do an absolute value. And I'm going to go with 3x plus 2. And I'm going to go minus 3. So now you have that entire piece. And then I can go up to this point right here. Click on that point, and I'm going to extend it down into that portion of the V. And if I want to know what the measurement or the distance from these 2 points, I just go up to the thing and I'm going to select length. And it'll tell me what the distance is between that A and that B. Okay, and it shows right over here, right underneath. Oops, I made a mistake again. Come over, I'm going to select this, delete, select that, delete. And you can actually change your parameters. Now the other thing is you can go ahead and just drag that just like I just did. So, playing with this, it's really great for geometry. It gives your kids a practical application in terms of finding if they know what their equations are working with. So it's kind of a neat little tool that allows you to graph various functions or equations and see where they come out.